Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Nora. I am a spiritual life coach and an energy healer. And I have today an amazing guest, Amos. Amos, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Amos Campbell. I am a full spectrum healer from Peoria, Arizona.
Arizona, the hot place, right?
Very hot.
Yeah. So tell me, Amos, how did you end up doing what you are doing? What brought you in this path?
Well, with most healers, most of us become healers because it's our way of becoming the thing that we needed the most when we needed something in a very hard time. So my story starts with conversion therapy in Christian school. I had 13 years perfect attendance in a missionary Baptist Christian school. And my mother died when I was very, very young, and my father was an only parent in West Virginia in the 80s.
Hmm.
And my father was very intuitive, and he knew that I was gay before I did. And he knew that that was going to be very difficult. And he thought he was doing me a favor by putting me in a quote, spiritual place, um, a Christian place. And 13 years of them trying to drive, their way into you, onto you, around you. It was very traumatic. It was literally 13 years of spiritual trauma.
Oh,
And
wow.
I went perfect attendance. So I never missed a day of it.
Mm.
So there's a reason why I take the spiritual path so often, because everything we do tends to come from the things that we believe in. So
Yeah.
I like to get there, but we don't start there.
Yeah.
I also went through eating disorders. In my teenage years, I had no outlets for anything, so I ended up as a self mutilator for a short period of time.
Hmm.
Um, in my early mid-teens, I was a victim of sexual abuse by a close family friend, and that was very difficult.
Yeah.
And as a result of all of these, when I finally got to go on my own and I was left to my own devices, I couldn't take it, and I ended up as a drug addict for quite a few years because I was trying to medicate. I was trying to run away from the pain long enough to get some breathing room because I had never experienced anything normal. And
Yeah.
that was very difficult. So after 3 clinical nervous breakdowns and literally super gluing myself back together 3 times,
Hmm.
I've sort of become an expert by experience in anger management, PTSD, and grief management.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So as a result, I created a method, what I call
Hmm.
the 7-7 method, loosely based off of the Eastern chakra theory that everyone's familiar with, the nice 7 stacking pillars of rainbow light. So
Yeah.
I've just branched off of that so that there is something solid that, heaven forbid, I'm not here anymore. There is something that you really can't mess up.
Hmm. Yeah. Let's go to your method in a moment. I want to ask a few questions just because I'm personally very interested. My boyfriend also has experienced a religious trauma in a Catholic school as a child, and we tend to run into the issue that for him, when I speak about spirituality, that sometimes he gets triggered because he feels that I am like the teachers in the school who try to make you believe something.
Mhm.
It's just like
Yeah.
a trigger trauma. So how did you end up, like, from a religious toxic background? How did you end up as a balanced spiritual person? Like, what did you have to go through in your mind?
Well, first you have to separate religion and spirituality first.
Yeah.
There is, in my opinion, and this is strictly my opinion, I don't believe there is a lot of spirituality in religion. There is some, and it
Mhm.
does offer a type of structure. That is the best part about religion, is that it offers a type of structure. Unfortunately, because of the way it forces us to view the psychic function of value.
Hmm.
And the way that we value the human soul, that's why I steer away from religion, because in religion, there is a believer and a non-believer.
Yeah.
So those who believe are more valuable to the God than the ones who don't believe. So now there's a first separation of people. And
Hmm.
I don't get on board with that. So
Yeah. And
that's
we
the
have to
problem I
save
have.
the rest of the people who don't
Yeah.
believe, like it
So
becomes attack. Yeah.
I don't really believe that. In my opinion, in my experience, when it rains on everyone underneath the cloud. When the light shines, it shines on everyone in front of the star. So I have a universal theory. It's very circular. It has to be the same from every side. And if you're in the center, it has to be the same from every side looking out. You can't have any sides and you can't take any sides. That
Yeah.
doesn't help anybody. So if the philosophy or ideology is not spherical and fair, then
Mm.
I tend to steer away from it. And that's really how I pull a lot of religion away, because it is franchise theory and country club theory,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
And I don't subscribe to either of these. I don't recommend you eat at McDonald's franchises, and I don't really recommend you go to a country club for more than a golf game or an afternoon for cocktails. But
Yeah.
I don't believe in separation of human souls. I believe that the human souls need to be together.
Yeah, exactly. And we all have our individual experience in this world. And if you are interested in spirituality, it's okay. But if you are not, it's still okay. We are still the same energy. So we just choose to have different
Absolutely.
experience. That's how I see it also. Yeah, definitely. Cool. I just wanted to ask because you actually have come over from this, religious
Yeah.
trauma to actually
Yeah.
being highly spiritual, and that requires a lot of, probably a lot of, like, thinking and really analyzing your thoughts and seeing
Oh
what
yeah.
is true and when do you get triggered, and kind of releasing the trauma before building something again. Yeah, cool. So how about there was another that I wanted to ask, your drug addiction. What was the biggest shift that had to happen in you to be
Oh.
able to let go from the
So
addiction?
in my experience, the reason why people turn to drugs is because, unlike the people who were supposed to protect us in life, the drugs do their job. The
Hmm.
people couldn't do their job. My dad did not do his job. My friends did not do their job. Like, it was not a nobody did their job. I was the only person showing up every day and doing my job.
Yeah.
So I needed someone to work for me, and I needed someone I could rely on. And
Mm.
drugs become that because they show up and they do their job every single time. And consistency is key in trauma. And every time I, got that little line out, whew, it was going to work for me. It did its job until it demands more of you than what you have left to give. As an
Mm.
already broken person, consulting a broken methodology, the methodology isn't actually going to give you anything. It only takes.
Yeah.
So after it takes everything else from you, you don't have anything. And when I realized I'm standing there, I had no peace, I had no sense, I had no skills, and then I had no money, and then I didn't have any health.
Yeah.
And it took the last things I had, and I was like, okay, well, maybe you're not really helpful after all. Maybe there isn't anything here. And it
Yeah.
was a really hard rock bottom, realizing that this friend doesn't actually care about you. And that was the hard thing,
Yeah. Oh
because
wow.
we partied hard,
Yeah.
but you realize that your friend doesn't care and that you're just another hole in the wall.
Right.
So then you have to maces, and I made a whole lot of choices. Luckily, I was able to quit cold turkey without the need of rehab.
Mm.
But it was very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. Like, you have to lock yourself in the house for 4 days difficult.
Yeah, I guess so. Can I ask what drug did you use, or which drugs?
So I have sort of explored the gamut because of my nursing background and my pharmacology. Uh, I really started with painkillers because it was all of that power. in one little pill with none of the calories.
Hmm.
Brilliant. And then I started moving. I needed to get things done. So when I was in college and in nursing school, I was just always wanting to party and just chill. So it was all about the painkillers. And then when I moved across country and had to start my life over again, I felt like I was behind. I felt
Hmm.
like I was making up for lost time. So I went to amphetamines. I went to meth because I needed to get there faster.
Right.
And I did. But
Yeah.
then after you stay up for 4 days straight, you actually go temporarily insane. I
Yeah.
was temporarily insane because I hadn't slept for 4 days. I hadn't eaten in 3 days. I was dehydrated. You are literally dying.
Yeah. Whoa, whoa. Okay.
So there's a reason why I say these things and I come from these places because I've been there. I've really been there.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So you
sure,
have
we
the
can.
authority of actually helping people because you have
Yes,
actually went
I'm
through that.
uniquely qualified. Uniquely
Yeah.
qualified. Yes, that's why kintsugi is my core ideology. We all break, and breaking is fine. I tell people it's
Yeah.
how the light gets in, but then we have to take the pieces and we have to clean them off, and then we have to slowly organize them and then glue them back together. And that is the process of healing.
Right. And for the people who don't know what is kintsugi, I'm gonna show you.
Yes, I love this.
Yeah. Here is a statue.
Beautiful.
You can see that it has actually fallen 2 times already. And this is from my childhood, and it's very valuable for me. And basically, the art of kintsugi, it comes from Japanese tradition, and it is uh, like showing where the wounds have been in the statue or in the object that has been repaired. And usually they use the color gold to show the kind of the scars. And what happens is that it actually becomes more valuable after they fix it. And also it is stronger from the areas where it has been already broken once, so it won't probably break from the same part anymore. It will break maybe some from somewhere else. Yeah. I
I
don't know
love it.
actually what era it was when they started to do this kintsugi in Japan. Do you remember?
Kintsugi is very old. I'm going to say
Yeah.
it's from the feudal period, but I'm going to have to actually go back and double check that.
Yeah, yeah, I have the same. I'm very bad with times, but it was actually like for some princess or like emperor's wife or someone's like it was a high how do you say it? Like royal woman that they started to do that for her.
Well, I
I,
like I like a lot of Japanese culture because they're very it's close to Native American because they tend to not waste things. They'll use every part of the animal, or in this case, she was a princess. She could afford to get new
yeah,
cutlery, new whatever, but let's just repair it.
yeah,
Let's keep the value. Let's keep it. It's still worth something. And I thought
yeah.
that was kind of even more poetic.
Yeah, definitely it is. It is poetic, and it's actually more valuable when it's fixed, which is even.
Poetic and practical. I like
Yes,
it.
exactly. Cool. So now we have covered your past quite well.
Mhm.
So now tell us about what do you do? Like how is your methodology?
My methodology is full spectrum. So again, it's based off the seven chakras, the rainbow system that you see behind me. So each one
Mm,
of these seven is related to something different. And with each person, in my case, because of my massage license, my reflexology degree, my Reiki background, I'm qualified to touch the general public. So I tend to let's start with our physical being first, because it's really hard to focus on your emotional state or your mental state if you're feeling physical pain in your body. So I
yeah,
really like to address the physical pain first. So it's let's take stock. Is it tendonitis? Do you need more stretching? Do you need more personal fitness? Do you need nutrition? Or have you not slept a good night's sleep? Like, there's a lot on the physical health spectrum that we have to bring into balance first.
Yes, definitely. And it's also the one of the like the main level that people notice their problems, even though they could be caused from emotional issues, but they actually feel it as a physical pain, and that's usually the reason why they come to you, right? Or at least
Oh,
to me.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
usually stress that has manifested in stage two. Stage two stress, in my opinion, turns into tendonitis, where
Mm,
that tendon has just been so locked for so long that it just
mm,
turns into a rock, a
yeah.
knot. And then I have to get that out. And then always when we're working on the knot, those emotions come back. Or all of a
Mm,
sudden, they'll be talking about their dogs or their kids or their vacation. And all of a sudden, when we get on the knot, they start talking about their boss that they
yeah.
really just, don't agree with.
Yeah.
So there's this interesting correlation to the emotions and your physical body. And that's usually we start with your physical body so that we can get to that emotional state. And usually when you're relaxed, people will talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. And they already have gained your trust, so they feel more safe with sharing their feelings. So it is never just like treating one layer of the
Yeah.
body, mind, spirit complex. Yeah. So then from the physical, where do you go next?
Well, now that the safe touch has been established, we can get into that emotional. But that emotional is one of the bigger, deepest places because this is the ocean, the emotion ocean, and it's very deep. And everybody has had a different story like mine. Everybody has had a different experience, and everyone is in a different circumstance right now. So we have
Yeah.
to take these three different layers into effect, see like what did you go through? What are you carrying with you emotionally? Then we want to get rid of the storage shed. I kind of alleviate the storage shed.
Mm,
Then, what are your circumstances in your daily life with your emotions? Because that's called the spice rack. What tools are you using? Are you cooking with on a daily basis?
yeah.
And then how to get there. Because I don't like to be the only person on a person's health coaching team. I am just one aspect and I'm the natural aspect.
Hmm.
I really do recommend a talk therapist, especially in the beginning of these types of issues
Yeah.
because this could lead into yeah, you could be mad at your husband or your boss right now, but like in my case, I didn't understand that I had such deep-seated trauma until I was in my late 20s during a massage session when I was relaxed enough that my subconscious could get it.
Hmm. Right.
So we take this very delicately.
Yeah.
The emotions are wild. So
Hmm.
it's about structuring a sailboat so that no matter what you go out on the daily, you'll be all right.
Yeah, definitely. And also it's with the emotions, I have noticed that people do have like very different resilience, like like they like resilience levels, or how do you say it, like some
Mhm.
people they are really like open and honest about their emotions, they don't get triggered, they are very like aware, and they are like, oh, now I'm feeling like this, and they can share them. And other people, they go like from and like from depression to euphoria in 2 seconds. And it's very important to know where you are at as a human being,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that you need then different kind of tools and different safety nets depending on what is your situation in life at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You've got to be very well educated and you got to be experienced because there's a difference in I've got emotional baggage and I'm bipolar.
Mm,
Bipolar is a clinical brain chemistry thing that alternates. And this emotional baggage, once we could find a way to look at it in a positive, healthy way, you can release the energy. You
mm,
will never be able to release your bipolar. It's a part of you, it's a genetic thing, and it affects the way your brain produces neurotransmitters. This is nothing personal, this is
yeah.
genetics. And we have to really be careful when we trudge through these things because, again, I'm not a doctor, I don't diagnose, but
Yeah,
I'd like to work with a team of other professionals. Health is a huge spectrum, and I'm
yeah.
just one person. I'm one of these colors. I like to be this one right in the middle. But
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely I 100% agree. And actually, like, if I have people who have a background of like mental illnesses, I make it very clear that it's not my profession. Like, I don't treat mental illnesses because it is something that people sometimes think that, oh, you are a healer, you can do anything. But they
yeah,
need a certain
yeah.
education, and
Well,
usually healing really helps with them, but it's just one method of helping. Like, it's very important to know that there are professionals in that who have studied years and they have done their job and they can help
well,
you.
absolutely. Well, I
Yeah.
speak from experience because so bipolar, we all are very familiar with bipolar type A, the big mood swings. Well, there's actually a bipolar type B. It's called cyclothymia, and I've been diagnosed with cyclothymia since like 2015 or something like that. So it's actually bipolar type B, which instead of 3 months out of the or 3 weeks out of the month where I'm like normal and then 1 week where you go up and manic, it's like that every day. It's what's called rapid mood cycling disease.
Interesting.
So I take a one pill once a day, and it's a time release, and it just keeps everything level.
Ah, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do you know, like, why does it cycle like inside one day? Like,
In my case, so my family has a history of mental illness, from like a mental point of view. Like my grandmother died of dementia and Alzheimer's. I believe my dad is an unmedicated schizophrenic. And my mother was a technical like genius, but I think she was super high on the autism spectrum.
mm,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
So it's all this brain stuff.
Yeah, but that's why you are such a genius and you have like amazing memory bank. You remember everything. That's
Well,
like very
lucky.
fascinating for me.
But
Yeah.
my cyclothymia was triggered by the amphetamines. The speed
Mm.
sped everything up, and it sped up the mental illness portion. Like mine probably wouldn't have manifested till probably later in life,
Hmm.
but it sped it up. So now everything just cycles constantly. And if I don't take it, you will see a different side of me. It's not a
Hmm.
bad side, but it's a very hypersensitive side. And it's a mood swing side. It'll just go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down all day long.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Cool. So
Stability is key.
that's your mental layer that we have now covered. So we have covered now the physical, the emotional, the mental, and then after that, what do you?
Finally, we get to the fun stuff, and that's the spiritual journey. Because by this time, we've gotten to who you are. We've answered the three pillars of the personality by now, and that's who you are, what you want, and then what you believe in. And
Hmm.
this really matters because I deal from a self empowerment point of view. I have a lot of Buddhistic principles, a lot of Wiccan principles, and all of that is about empowerment. If you
Yeah.
don't believe in anything, I want you to believe in yourself.
Hmm. Yeah.
However, by this time, people have begun to understand what an essence is, much like an essential oil. When you take 100,000 lavenders and you crush them down and you get that pure essence, that is essentially the spirit of the lavender flower. That
Hmm.
is the essence. So
Yeah.
I start with introducing people to the spiritual world with the essences of the spirits. Like my favorite is the essence of gentleness. The spirit of gentleness is
Hmm.
grace.
Hmm.
I introduce everyone to grace first.
All right.
Grace is our guide.
Yeah.
Healing is about being gentle with yourself so that you can then be gentle with others. And
Definitely.
grace is the spirit for that. If when in doubt, you go and you consult grace, and she'll help you very
Perfect.
gently.
Perfect. And how do you consult Grace?
A quiet space. You can light a candle. I usually consult Grace in the shower when I am alone with everybody and just my thoughts, and I can let all the junk sort of visualize it washing away.
Hmm.
And I just it's a mental conversation in my world. I don't do a lot of verbal stuff, even though I do teach transcendental meditation. I do a lot of mental stuff. So it's very much a mental conversation with an imaginary friend.
Hmm.
What's wrong with having an imaginary friend that is the embodiment of gentleness itself? If you're going to speak to any imaginary friend, I think your imaginary friend should be the essence of gentleness.
Right.
She's the most gentle of all the spirits, so she's going to lead you to the place that you need to go next in the most gentle way. And I think that that's best for healing, is always to do these things gently, because we don't want to force anything.
Definitely. Only what the body is ready to let go in that moment. That's
Yeah.
that's the thumb of rule thumb. How do you say? Thumb of rule.
Rule of thumb.
Rule of thumb. That one. Yeah. Cool. So then you have a few other layers too. You have like physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and you have 3 layers more, right?
Yes. I have after we get to the spiritual, people feel pretty well balanced in themselves, but their life is still more complicated than just that. Depending on who they are and where they are in life is going to depend on these next two, because these next two are very advanced and they're not necessarily subjects for everyone, because these are very, I know we think spiritual is the most touchy subject, but that's actually not. It's the next one, which is financial. Financial is one of the most touchy healing issues we have. And the thing I tell everyone is that everyone needs to consult a CPA, a certified professional accountant, at least once in their life. It really affected me because I'm a small business owner. I run my own business. So it's imperative to have a CPA that you love and trust and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But before, when I was 27 around and I was flailing, basically broke and could not keep a budget.
Hmm.
So I reached out to an accountant, had 3 sessions, sat down, helped me reorganize my life. Organization is key.
Yeah.
Once you learn how to organize, then you can learn how to plan. Then I learned how to financially plan. And now I'm executing all of these plans, and now the future looks good.
Yeah.
But you cannot implement what you do not know. That makes no sense. So when in
Yeah.
doubt, you reach out.
Yeah.
So financial health is very key.
Yeah. And what I do as a life coach is that I actually help people a lot with financial problems. I don't give them financial advice, but people have so many limiting beliefs about what do they deserve, for example. Do they
Yes.
deserve to have money? And like you can have the best accountant telling you what to do, but if you have big blockages preventing the money to come to you, it doesn't help. Like you have to have the balance like inside you, mentally, emotionally, and then you have to have the practical steps actually to take action and to do something about it. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Money is an energy that we all sanction together. It's
Yeah.
money is the best example of cooperative magic that we can put on the table, because
Yeah.
we all believe in it collectively. That's how it has its power. It's how it works.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
it's very important though. It's
Mm.
especially for anyone over 18. I really do advocate for financial independence and financial sustainability.
Yes, because it is also behind many problems. Like if you feel that you cannot sustain yourself, it will lower
Correct.
your self-esteem, it will start causing stress, that will cause physical problems, emotional problems, mental problems. So it is like a very vicious cycle. And what I very often see that spiritual people, they tend to have this weird thinking that money is somehow bad or evil, or that you shouldn't have money if you are truly spiritual. But I don't really get it, because I see money is only energy. Like
Yes.
it is a concentrated form of energy. And
Yep.
where you use it for. If you buy guns with it, then it becomes bad. But if you
Yep.
give it to a charity, it is the most beautiful thing in the world. So you
It's a
actually,
tool.
yeah,
It's a
you
tool.
define what money is by your actions, what you want to buy with it. So that's,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's one of my passions, is to kind of like help people to get out of the hole that they have been with themselves. And I don't know, do you normally treat like past lives? Do you do that stuff?
That is something that I am currently in the process of working out behind the scenes. Past life reincarnation is the top tier spiritual studies.
Yeah,
Um, the best book on the subject right now is My Spiritual Journey by the Dalai Lama,
yeah.
where he directly describes his reincarnation process and how that essentially spell is done in their culture.
Mm,
So there's technicalities that I'm still working through. Um, right now in my practice, we don't visit the concept of past lives right now. I
okay.
refer out to another professional who already, quote, does that,
Yeah, cool.
just because
Because
I don't have enough experience.
yeah, because what comes up with my treatments, because I also treat the energies from the past lives, and very often spiritual people, they have given in their past life, in one of them, like a promise of not owning anything. They have been monks, for example. So that promise kind of like follows, which is like coming to this world, and that's why people are struggling with money. That is a very typical example. Or then another example is that there is a curse from a past life that is preventing them for getting abundance. So they are very interesting stuff. Like even sometimes you can think like, no, I don't have anything in my mind, I don't really believe anything bad about money, but there is still something preventing, and that might be the past life
Oh, yeah.
issue. Yeah.
Oh no, I do visit that concept, which is it's called bad medicine, hexes, curses, or bad mojo.
Mm.
That is something I address because that is something that happens a lot here
Yeah.
in the States. Anyone who's driven on any of the interstates knows that you make one wrong turn, and I guarantee you they are saying curse words at you. I
Yeah.
know this because
Oh,
unfortunately I am guilty as well. So they're just flying around all the time.
oh, wow. Wow, wow. That's how it is. So, but so then you had the financial aspect was there covered. And then after that,
Then lastly, by this time, because I don't usually deal with single people because everybody's taste is on their own, because everybody over 18 needs financial independence and then they need their intimate health to be kept in check.
mm,
The American public school system has really failed us in sex education and sexual health. And then with all of the changes in society over the last 20 years, we have so many new developments in sexuality, in gender, and in intimacy. We have a whole new array on the spectrum with sapiosexuality, demisexuality, asexual. There is a whole new spectrum that has not even been recognized yet.
yeah,
So where you fall on the intimate spectrum is very important because it does tend to be an important part of adult relationships. So
yeah,
knowing where you fall on the spectrum really matters when it comes to partner expectations on the other side, because it's really hard to match up when you've got someone who is, like in my case, hypersexual, and then you have someone who is asexual. That is not going to work long term in my experience.
yeah,
Not saying it won't. However, it's not very plausible because
mm,
it's about chemistry and compatibility.
yeah,
And
definitely.
and everybody deserves to have their needs met, whatever those needs are, but we need to be able to visit those in a healthy way, to have a dialogue, because most people don't even know. That's the thing that's been developed on the table in the last 6 months, is that people don't even know they're demisexual. Demisexual is one of the most prolific developments in psychology of the last 10 years, is that we're finding out that we cannot connect with other people unless there is an emotional connection, a mental connection. There is they have to trust you. They
Yeah,
cannot open themselves up to you until they trust you.
yeah, definitely. And I think I don't know how it is in the United States, but at least in Finland, we tend to advocate a lot of this kind of like, yeah, free sex and everyone can do whatever. But personally, it has always been very difficult for me because I need the strong emotional connection for actually having anything to do on the physical
Mhm.
level. And I think it's more often so. I think it's a normal human need, especially for women, to have the kind of feeling safe and feeling that you can be completely vulnerable and someone is there for you in that moment.
Yes.
And this, I don't know about United States, but here we tend to go to very much to the, more to this uh what is it, Sex in the City way, like this culture
It's
of
the same here. It's the
yeah,
same here. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And that's okay. Everybody needs to know where they fit on the spectrum and how to get their needs met in a healthy way.
exactly. And if everyone else is doing something that is not your thing, it's okay. It doesn't need to be your thing. So
Absolutely.
go and listen to yourself what you need. Yeah, perfect. So here we have a lot of cool stuff. So then you had like some magical things that you
Yes.
wanted to combine with your
Y-
system. Yeah.
Yes. They all have a counterbalance, an energetic counterbalance. A lot of my principles are Buddhistic or Wiccan, so there is a lot of empowerment, and we have a lot. Psychologists give a lot of New Agers a lot of bad rap because of the look down on the idea of magical thinking.
Hmm.
But then again, religion, and then all of the stuff in religion. So I'm just going to, leave that right there. But
Mm,
I have found magic, what I believe to be magic in real life. And
mm.
that's energy that you create out of nowhere, other than sheer force of will. That a cup of milk with kindness is everything. And that's where I start. So
Yeah.
kindness is
Amos,
actual.
Amos, there is a lag. So you create that energy from only with your will out of, and what was the sentence?
Yeah, you create these energies out of nowhere, other than sheer force of will, and
Right.
you can feel them. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, because there was a lag, so that
Sorry. It's
everyone
okay.
hears it. Yeah. Okay. And
So we start with kindness. This is where we always start, always, because you have to be kind to yourself first, or the healing will never happen.
yes.
And then the kinder you are to yourself, the kinder people tend to be with others. And
Mm,
that is the most beautiful magic you can practice. Every time you're kind to yourself and kind to someone else, that is literally beautiful magic, because that it doesn't exist in the observable multiverse. You can't mine kindness, you can't distill kindness, and you can't harvest it anywhere. It can only be produced between human souls out of a force of will.
yes.
That's Harry Potter level, baby.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the power of kindness is very, very big. Like usually when you put something good on, it tends to spread. Like the people, they start to be kinder to each others, and it's like a worldwide phenomenon that it starts to grow. So it is pure magic. It's not just like only talk and sweet words, right? It is a pure
No,
energy.
no, it's pure energy, because I have found that this energy, we came to me after again meditating and working with grace. When I began to be gentle with myself, I was really examining, what am I doing? What is gentleness? And gentleness is kindness in action.
Yeah. Definitely.
So the more gentle I became with myself, the kinder I became to myself, the kinder I became to other people. There's a snowballing effect that
Yeah.
begins to happen, because after the kindness, we move into the compassion. And this is where the healing really starts, because compassion creates a bridge,
Mm.
and that energy can pass over like a Japanese bullet train.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
compassion is pure magic. It's what gives emergency room doctors and nurses the ability to write rain checks to death. These people care whether or not these souls live or die. They care so much, and they have cared so much, they have learned all the proper policies and procedures and even chemical components to put together to make death itself, Thanatos, the black winged angel of death. They can write a rain check and make him come back
Hmm.
later.
Yeah.
That's power. That's real, real fucking power. But it comes from compassion.
Yeah. It is. It is. Definitely.
It's
Great
impressive.
human power. Yeah. And then the next one.
Next is mercy. This is most important, because mercy, it creates a level of gentleness that you can pass through anything. Like with mercy, you can release yourself from anything, and you can release other people from anything. And with mercy, it stops the harm,
Hmm.
because you can, like, we can all cause harm, we can all lash out in our own way, but with the mercy, you don't have to. You can
Hmm.
let it go.
Yeah. And
Mercy
I
is one of
find
the
that,
most.
yeah, I find that this is one of the biggest healing powers that we have, because when we kind of are are ready to let go, and we are ready to forgive and ready to not put up a fight, we finally can release enormous amounts of uh, like energy that has been stuck in the body for a long time. And I see this power happening a lot in my treatments. This is a beautiful, beautiful, magical power that we have. Yeah.
Compassion, and then the ability to generate mercy. It's one of the most difficult things to do.
Yeah.
But then after mercy, then the concept of fairness. This is what really matters, but this is an advanced concept, and
Mm.
this takes a lot of mental energy, because there's a lot more thought that goes into this aspect than anything else,
Mm.
because fairness is an advanced concept. um it's where you've been, where you are right now, and where you want to go. Because here's the thing: life is not fair, the universe is not fair, the multiverse is not fair, and it never will be.
Mm.
So it's always going to be a struggle to find fairness in your experience, because the truth is going to be, most often your experiences won't be fair. Really, it won't. So it's going to be up to you to treat yourself fairly on the inside, because I'm just going to tell everyone, the observable universe is not going to treat you fairly.
Hmm.
It's not.
Wow, this
I,
is interesting. This is maybe one place where I disagree with you a little bit. I feel that there is like, it's just like energy. It's not right or wrong, but even like the hard experiences that we might have are very good possibilities for growing, and they are showing us something. But yeah,
oh,
I,
absolutely.
I don't need to talk about what I think. This is an interview, so let's go to your fairness. So anyway, you were saying that.
It's just fairness is a constant subject, and it's a constant struggle, because again, it's all about the circumstance.
Hmm.
Um, where are they? Where do they want to go? How to get them there in a healthy way? Because it's again, it's just, in my experience, life is not fair. So we are always trying to find a way to bring a sense of fairness to your situation, because everything depends on circumstance. So fairness is a tough subject, but the act of fairness When we decide to, oh, let's split the bread evenly, that's a magical concept because I can take the larger piece. If I'm the one cutting the bread, I can cut as big of a piece as I want. But if
Hmm.
I decide to split it equally, that's a magical concept.
Yeah, it is.
So that's where I want to keep it, is we want to practice fairness always, always, always.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
definitely.
it's more of a practice.
Yeah, and what we practice will actually, based on the universal laws, it will kind of come back to us. So we will also start having more the similar kind of
Mhm.
energy.
Hopefully, yes, hopefully. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So then the next magical power. Now we have had kindness, compassion, mercy, fairness,
Friendship.
friendship.
Friendship. This is pure magic, and it binds people together even through death.
True.
Um, love is a dangerous concept. That's why I teach it last, and I teach that friendship is infinitely more valuable than love. Love has launched more wars, more people have died in the name of love than any and every god combined.
Mhm.
So friendship really keeps things in check. It's very much like a golden key that I feel needs to be inserted into the center of the love key, and it makes it very solid. With
Hmm.
a love key without the friendship key can be very easily bent, broken, twisted, or perverted.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
friendship is magic.
Hmm.
To
Definitely.
quote My Little Pony, friendship is magic.
Yeah. Beautiful. And then after friendship comes,
Forgiveness. It's always a thing that you're going to have to learn after you make another connection with another soul.
yeah,
Because when it's just you and you interacting with the universe, it's mercy. But when it's you interacting with other people, other souls, forgiveness will be needed at some point, somewhere, even with yourself.
yes.
And forgiveness is what releases you, and it releases other people from traps or bindings that we put on ourselves and others. Once
Mm,
you forgive, you truly let go.
yes, that's true. And that's what I was during the mercy. I was talking a little bit about the experiences that I have. I feel that mercy and forgiveness, they go very well, like in the
Yes.
same category in the healing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, they're essentially fraternal sisters. They're twins, but they look different, just slightly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So forgiving yourself and forgiving others is the magical power. And the last one that you
Love,
already said. Mm,
love, love. Love is essentially one of the most powerful things we will ever experience in life, ever. It's one of the greatest gifts you'll ever experience. But it is also one of the most dangerous concepts. It is the most dangerous drug on earth. So I really teach love. And like with all magical concepts, you must have respect for
mm,
this energy because this energy is very easily corrupted.
yes, it is. And very often your ego is taking it over. Like pure love doesn't want anything. It just exists and it's like only there giving and sharing. But very often our human experience gets mixed up and we get like this egoistic love and then we end up killing people in the name of love, right?
Yep. Or the things that we love. Yeah. Yeah. It happens all through history.
Yeah, yeah, so that is definitely like a two-sided sword that we have to
So
be
it's
careful. Yeah. So what would be your wisdom about love? Like how do you know when the love is pure?
I think the way that you know the love is pure is that there is an equal give and take. Everything that you put out, they can put back. A lot of people say the relationships are 50-50, and I think it's 100-100.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that you know it's love when you would essentially be with this person so much that you would never want to testify against them in court. I think that's how you know it's love.
Yeah, well, that's definitely true. And fortunately, by law, you don't even need to, right? Like
Well,
I
that's
think,
the benefit.
yeah, I think that they have figured it out that people don't want to do it. So they have released that baggage from people's shoulders. Cool. So here we have covered now your
7-7
method.
method. Yep. This
Beautiful
is this.
method.
You can keep all 7 aspects of your health. And if you're having trouble with these, then we look at these 7 aspects of healing, and it helps keep everything in balance because I'm always like, well, I don't know how fair that idea is. I don't know how compassionate you're being with yourself. I don't know if that's kind to other people or yourself. And that way we can't get off track because
Yeah.
you keep with these cores, these 7 core essences, very powerful core essences. It's very hard to mess up.
Yeah, definitely. And if you act from these energies, like very little bad can come out of it, I would say. Yeah.
This has been a very good guide for me, at least.
Yeah. Very, very beautiful. Thanks for sharing. So, Amos, anything else you want to share with our viewers about
The
your work? I didn't even ask, like, what kind of treatments do you do?
I do everything. So I do full body musculoskeletal specialty. So I really specialize in scar tissue, new and reconstructed joints. So after you get a hip replacement, a knee replacement, a spinal cord stimulating implant put in, or anything else, I do a lot with immune system boosting, lymphatic drainage, oncology patients. Um, uh, as a medical reflexologist, most of my life is plantar fasciitis and neuropathies that do not stem from spinal cord injuries. If you've hurt your spine, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
So I do a lot with feet. Another part of my ideology is foundational health. So we start at your foundation and work our way up.
Yeah.
Um,
Everything
and
starts with the feet. Yeah.
and then the energy counseling. So I do a lot of spiritual counseling, one-on-one, and I do a lot of what I call intuitive development. So most people in modern times are very sensitive and they were never taught how to manage it in a healthy way. So we
Yeah.
find out if you have any natural gifts and how to develop them in a healthy way.
Yeah. Beautiful. And you were also a shaman, right?
That is what happened in my personal private life. So I have dealt hands-on healing every day of my life since I was 16.
Right.
I also had a vision quest, a spirit quest when I was 19, the 4th of July, 2007. I flipped my Jeep twice down the side of a mountain. Had to leave my 2 passengers by the wreckage. And I had to walk for 12 hours with no shoes, no shirt, no cell phone service, and no food. Um, Luckily, my father had given me survival skills from 13 to 16, so I had some type of ground sense of what to do and where to go and how to get out of the situation. But
Wow.
the only way out was on foot, so I walked for 12 hours. And found myself in pitch dark because it was a rainstorm. You're in the middle of the Appalachian wilderness, so this is some of the thickest forest in North America.
Oh,
So
wow.
you can't even see the stars when the cloud cover comes over. So there's no light.
Mm.
It is as dark above ground as below ground. And I had to sleep beneath a tree. I had to make a makeshift sleeping bag out of sticks and twigs and leaves and whatever was dry at the base of the tree. And the spirit of the mountain lion came in a dream.
Mm.
And when I found out what the mountain lion represents, it represents survivability,
Wow.
ingenuity. There's nothing you can't do if you can think your way out.
Yeah.
And that's been my guiding light ever since. The mountain lion is my spirit animal. It's my guide, and that's my shamanic experience. That's
Beautiful.
what connects me to that spirit world, to that essence.
That's beautiful. But you don't give shamanic treatments. That's more your personal thing, is the shamanism that you work with
It's
yourself.
very rare. It's very rare because that's only in extreme cases. I have had 2 cases of soul retrieval, or one case of soul retrieval, 1 case of power retrieval, and that was in the last 5 years combined. So it's
Oh,
very, very, very rare that anyone ever needs that type of treatment. Most often, it's just what I call a de-static or a de-shed, like in your animal. There's
mm,
just all this extra junk on people, and we do a lot of Reiki and a lot of acupressure to release energy.
yeah.
But there's not a need for shamanic journeying or shamanic energy work often. It does happen, but it's very, very rare because these
Yeah.
cases were extreme cases.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it also that people are a little bit scared of the word shamanism there, or is it very normal that people want to try it out? How do you see that?
Right now, it's a 50-50 split because we have such a stigma of there is this old adage that a healer or a shaman doesn't go around telling people. And I really have to challenge that because, well, then what about Dr. Phil
Right.
or Dr. Oz? They introduce themselves with doctor.
Yeah, definitely.
Judge Judy. So I disagree with that because in an ancient world before society, you had to know who the midwife was. You had to know who the herbalist was. You had to know who the diviner was, or the oracle, or the spiritualist, or the healer of your tribe,
Yeah.
because otherwise, who are you going to go to?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
how are you going to know where to get your arrow repaired if you don't know who the blacksmith is? Like that is idiotic to me, and it's just misinformed. However, I do recommend you do your due diligence. The
Hmm.
reason I'm a healer is because I needed healing. I'm what is considered a wounded healer. So I come from a place
Yeah.
of not just education, but experience.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the difference in healers and in shamans. I really ask you, I'm like, so what did you heal from? What was
Mm.
your spiritual experience? What brought you here? Because this is mine. This is how I got here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people usually can sense your intentions and they can sense your energy.
Yeah.
So after they have that conversation, after they've actually thought about it, then they're usually open because, again, I'm going to come at you from a place of grace. Like, I'm going to come at you with grace.
Mm.
I want this to be a gentle process
Right. Yeah.
because healing is tough.
Healing is tough. Definitely. You have to be completely honest with yourself, and people don't like to be honest.
You have to be. The best way is to ask a pediatric oncologist who has practiced for more than a decade, because it's very unfair to the healthy cells that surround the tumor that I have to take as well to get a clean margin to pull out that tumor. It's
Yeah.
very unfair to the rest of that limb that I have to cut off because it's got gangrene, because it will spread.
Yeah.
Like, healing is brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It is, and it's at the same time the best thing you can do for yourself.
Absolutely the best thing you'll ever do in your life.
Mm,
Absolutely.
definitely. Yeah, so any last words? Let us know how before the last words, let us know how do people find you if they want to work with you.
Um, I am the Witch of Endor on social media across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So it's WCH for World Class Healer of Endor, Endure, because I deal with long-term pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On any of the spectrums. Pain can be anywhere on this spectrum: emotional pain, mental pain, physical pain. That's my goal. I am your friendly neighborhood painkiller.
Perfect. So no these white small pills. You don't need them. Just go
No,
and visit Amos.
go visit me. Yes.
Do you do online or only like in your place?
I do both. I do both. I online consultations, counseling, guidance, all of that online. And I do have a full-time private practice here in Peoria. I have a a clientele that's been growing ever since I reopened business after the pandemic in June. I run health and healing solutions, and that's my business here in Peoria. So you can see me in person, but it's just as effective for like meditation education or any of the speaking modalities. Privately, one-on-one, you can sit in your comfy chair, I can sit in my comfy chair, and we can talk like people.
Yeah, beautiful. So now you know how to find Amos. And yeah, we are also actually with Amos and with a few others, we are building a network of healers around the world. We didn't still figure out the name, so I cannot say it, but it's coming. And just to let you know that we will have very cool panels of health and spirituality coming, and I will give you the information in the future videos. So be sure that you will like and subscribe and tell all the people about this channel, and hopefully many people will find for the right and cool source of information about healing and spirituality that is not only the woo-woo, but actually like with the real stuff that can help you grow, right? Yeah. So now I let you to say the last words, something you want to share with the audience.
The last thing I want to share is I have a heart-to-heart mission. So if you know, not visiting my healing methods aren't your thing, I want to re-educate everyone in the proper way to hug. And it's something I don't think we were taught as kids. So your heart is in the center of your chest, but it is slightly on the left. That's why when people have a heart attack, they'll feel the pain in their left jaw, or it'll go down their left arm. So when we do a left ear to left ear hug, that lines up the hearts and the electromagnetic field that surrounds the heart. So it lends to a deeper energetic connection. So it gives a moment of heart to heart connection, because we probably won't see eye to eye always, but when we greet and say goodbye, I think we should have a moment of heart to heart connection, and that's the way. I want to re-educate the world in the proper way to hug. I think if we could start this one little movement, I think it would make a big difference. Let's start connecting heart to heart, and let's see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I can be one of your ambassadors for this. I can start hugging people. I actually naturally hug that way. It would feel very weird to hug like the other way.
Yeah.
I always do it.
Yeah, well, no, I never like it because your heart's on the opposite side. It's like we're trying to separate them, and I don't like that. I want to feel your heartbeat against my heartbeat. I think that's a better way to hug. In my opinion, it's a mission I've tried because people tend to like it. And they feel better.
Definitely. And when we create the heart-to-heart connection with the other people, we are more united. So that is beautiful. And maybe, Amos, one day we are able to hug heart to heart. We are 10 hours apart.
10 hours apart.
So one day. Cool. This has been a pleasure. Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I hope you had very good time watching this video. Please comment and ask questions. We are very happy to answer any questions you might have about everyday life, spirituality, healing, or anything else that you think that we can help you with. And I wish you all a very lovely day or morning or evening or night, wherever you are, and much love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.